right guys, here's the truth. Your house is a mess because you're just messy. Like you're just lazy and you can't get it together, and other people are just better than you. And your house is always gonna be a mess because you are just a slob. I'm obviously kidding. Your house is messy because you live there, and that's a really good thing. You are living in that space. You are cooking and hosting family and friends and hopefully dancing in your kitchen and maybe raising babies and relaxing, and your home is going to get messy because you are living in it. Even people who have quote unquote tidy homes, their homes get messy sometimes too, because it is literally impossible to maintain a perfectly tidy home 24/7. But I have 5 little secrets I'm going to share with you that people who have clean homes know that maybe you don't. For me, when I got onto my journey of learning to be somebody who is considered tidier, if you will, obviously not, my hair is not tidy, I don't know. My big goal was I no longer wanted to fear when somebody would like call or text and say they were gonna swing by in 10 minutes. Like that literally used to instill fear in me. These are the 5 little things that I have adopted that I feel like make my home something that I can maintain and that I can keep tidy. Number 1, if you're not new to my channel, you have heard me preach this before, but this is that you are what you repeatedly do. The most valuable lesson that I have learned in the last 5 years of my life is essentially that the biggest impacts that we can have on our life, like on our day-to-day life, is not these like big, huge things, but it's these little small habits or tasks or events that we choose to continue to do day after day, after week, after week, after year, after year. It is not finding this one-time motivation to do an entire deep clean and declutter of your kitchen. Well, that is great, and it's really nice to do that sometimes. That's not what's going to maintain a clean kitchen. It's the little 5-minute tasks that you are agreeing to do every single day. You know, if you think about it this way, say you spend 30 minutes a day tending to your home. It's 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there and 15 minutes there, right? If you neglect even one of those 15-minute tasks for a week, you've now got an hour and a half of like backlog of stuff. And it's much easier to digest just 15 minutes at the end of the day or 15 minutes in your morning, as opposed to trying to find an hour and a half in your weekend somewhere, right? Most of us are not gonna find 90 minutes in our weekend somewhere. And now that thing's gonna continue to get neglected and continue to build up and build up and build up. And that really brings me into point number 2, which is discipline now or regret later. Discipline now or regret later is something I say to myself probably 10 times a day, because when it comes to all these like tiny little tasks, they're really small things. It's 3 minutes here, it's 5 minutes here, it's 10 minutes there. And while that makes it really easy to do, like, oh, it's only gonna take me 5 minutes, I can do it. It's also becomes really easy to be like, oh, I can get to that later. So I always am reminding myself that idea of discipline now or regret later. I always say, do something later you will thank you for, right? If I take the time to do the dishwasher when I first wake up and have my coffee, lunchtime Kallie is gonna be really glad that it was done, as opposed to if I say, oh, I can get to it later and now it's lunch, I'm trying to eat really quick and run out the door to get my kids from school, and I open the dishwasher and I haven't emptied it. With most of these tasks that we're doing, you're never gonna feel like doing it. You're never gonna like wake up and be like, can't wait to do the laundry and empty that dishwasher. It's easy to sort of just assume that other people are like more disciplined than us, or we're just lazier than other people, or they're more productive. But the truth is, self-discipline is a learned thing. Nobody is born with self-discipline. You can learn it and practice it and get better just like any other skill in your life. The one hack I always say to people is pick one thing, like one thing that you want to get better at. So maybe it's like you want to keep your kitchen tidier, okay? Now pick one task inside of that will take you less than 15 minutes. Mine, when I did this, was making sure that my kitchen sink was always clean at the end of the night. And then I committed to doing it every single day. No matter what, it was a non-negotiable. It didn't matter how tired I was. It didn't matter how early I woke up. It didn't matter what my schedule was tomorrow. It didn't matter. I made sure that that happened every single day. Why are we picking something that's only 15 minutes? Because 15 minutes is something that is attainable. We can all agree that we can find 15 minutes somewhere to dedicate to this task. So while you know that you are what you repeatedly do and you need to be doing these tasks day after day after day to make them much more easier and attainable so that they don't build up, when you're facing them and you don't want to do them, remind yourself, hey, either discipline now or regret later. All right, number 3 is to simplify your stuff. There is a stat that says that 40% of our time cleaning our our homes is just tending to the stuff that we own. So you imagine if you have less stuff, you can make that 40% a lot less. Now, when I say simplify your stuff, I'm not saying minimalism by any means. I always say if you walked into my home, nobody would ever consider me a minimalist, but what I do think is that we need to have a healthy relationship with our possessions. And a lot of that comes down to simplifying what we have in our home, because a lot of us, most of us, statistically, about 3/4 of us have more stuff in our home than we can really manage. And it's causing us extra stress. It's leading to poor sleep. It's leading to avoidance techniques like overeating. It's causing anxiety. It's causing procrastination. Like, this excess stuff in your home is not doing you any favors, and it's making it 8,000 times harder for you to keep your space tidy. But here's the problem with stuff in our home. One, your house didn't get cluttered in a single day, and so you're not going to declutter it in a single day. And even if you declutter your entire home, you spend an entire weekend getting everything out and you have like down to the bare minimum, in a month there will be stuff back in your home, because there are always means in which new things come in, right? People gift you things, you bought something new, you have mail that comes in, your kids brought stuff home from school, whatever, there's always stuff coming in. So the only way you are going to achieve simplifying your stuff is having a habit or a routine of constantly vetting the stuff you have and removing the stuff from your home that doesn't belong there. I think the easiest way to get started on this that I share all the time is do a 15-minute alarm once a day and declutter one thing. Set an alarm, 15 minutes, whether it's a kitchen drawer, it's a desk drawer, it's a table, just do what you can do in those 15 minutes. And if you start doing that every single day, you declutter a single place every single day for 10 or 15 minutes, you're just habitually going to get better at addressing the stuff in your home. It's going to become a lot easier to make that decision, like, do I need it or do I not? Because that's usually what gets us caught up with our stuff. We look at stuff and we're kind of paralyzed in the decision of, do I keep it? Do I still need it? Where should I put it? Where's it gonna go? And then we don't really end up doing anything with it. It gets added to a pile somewhere, it gets shoved into a drawer. But if you are doing this every single day, kind of like how you can develop self-discipline or you can develop new habits, you'll actually find that it's easier to make decisions about these things. You'll get a lot better about being able to essentially assess your stuff, and you'll get a lot better about being in the habit of removing stuff as it's coming in and not just letting it immediately clutter up your stuff. You start to look at your stuff differently. As you bring something in or something's offered to you, you're like, is this something I'm just gonna be decluttering in 60 days? You know what I mean? You become a lot more objective about your stuff. All right, number 4 is focusing on flat surfaces. When you think about a tidy space, sometimes a lot of us think that means like we are cleaning in the corners and we're wiping down our baseboards and like everything is clean and sparkly clean. We're dusting up on the light fixtures. I can't remember the last time I dusted that light fixture, to be honest. But if you think about it in a quick like snapshot, if you look at a room that is just clear of some extra visual clutter on flat surfaces, versus one where the flat surfaces are really cluttered, but like the floors have been mopped and the baseboards are clean, the one with the visual clutter is still gonna look dirtier. So for me, when it comes to tidying my home, it's always focusing on that visual clutter first. And also because the visual clutter is typically the one that impacts us as far as like our emotional and mental energy the most. These are the ones that's causing us typically extra stress, the ones leading to the poor sleep, the one that's leading to procrastination, the ones that are leading to us taking longer to tidy and manage our home. So for me, I'm constantly focusing on the flat surfaces. And it really helps to tie in the last one, which is decluttering, because you're constantly like addressing the stuff in your home. Does this need to be here? Should it belong somewhere else? Do I even need this, right? All right, last one, number 5, is one I feel like people don't really talk about a lot when it comes to having a tidy home and an organized home. But that is essentially, in order to maintain a home, like you have to be home. And I think that in some ways our generation has gotten really used to like always going and always sort of being out, and we don't really spend as much time at home as maybe past generations used to. But basically at the end of the day, if you're not home enough to even maintain some of these habits or maintain some of those routines, you're never gonna be able to like, you know, get to them. Okay, now I'm gonna sort of ramble on this topic for a little bit because I feel like this is the only way I can come full circle on the point that I'm trying to make. But when it comes to things that give us happiness, there is pleasure and there is gratification, okay? Pleasure is like instant delights. These are things that we do and we instantly get feelings of happiness from them in the moment. So it's eating a sundae, it's going out to happy hour with our friends, it's eating at a nice restaurant, it's sitting down and like vegging out and watching a movie and having popcorn. We instantly get the rush of dopamine in the moment while we're doing this, but the thing about pleasure is usually the minute the activity is gone, the happiness that we derive from it is also gone. Gratification, on the other hand, are things that take a little bit of work. So this would be hiking all day to reach the summit, or working on a garden all summer, then to harvest all of your vegetables. These things don't give us instant happiness, but it is the journey and the process of getting to them that gives us the happiness. And the interesting thing is about gratification is the happiness we derive from them tends to stick around with us. So ultimately, my point here is finding a good balance between pleasure and gratification. Because if you're only focusing on pleasure, you're going to be constantly just seeking out more and more activities that are going to give you that happiness, because once it's over, now the happiness is gone, and so now you're seeking out more. And so when I say finding time to be at home a little bit more, it's about if you're not always seeking out just things that are pleasurable, you're also working on things that are gratifying. This is maybe tasks around your house. This is taking 30 minutes on Saturday morning to do some yard work or to complete a decluttering task. You know, a lot of us might look at that and say that we're not really living life, we're not enjoying because we're sort of staying home, we're doing these tasks. But it's not that you are like keeping yourself from pleasures, it's that you're also doing things that give you a different kind of happiness than pleasure does. Because you can go out and do pleasurable things all day, but then you're gonna come home and you're going to look at your home and sort of feel unhappy, and the happiness from your pleasurable things is gone. Do you get where I'm going with this? All right, my friends, that does it. Those are sort of like the four? Was it five? I think it was 5 little things that I think people who keep tidier homes kind of have realized, have kind of adopted, that make it not necessarily that you're somebody who's tidy all the time, because I certainly am not, but just makes staying on top of being tidy feel a lot more manageable, makes it not feel like this totally overwhelming task, like something you can like actually achieve with life that's going on around you and like children and jobs and all of the craziness. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you all in my next video.